What up friends, Trainer Joe with this week's food prep video. The hero of this week's food prep is this sliced grass-fed beef, 2 pounds of it, which will give me close to 8 ounces per meal, making 8 meals. Got my organic eggs, free range, some peppers for some carbs, some avocados for some fat, some mushrooms for some flavor, some greens for the fiber, some Boursin cheese for some fat, more eggs, reusing this butternut squash. Loved it from last week. It was super easy to prepare for some carbs, as well as some leftover sweet potatoes. All of this from our friends at Costco. So let's go. For time efficiency, I'm gonna start blending these eggs up and putting them in the skillet, and then I'll cut these vegetables up while those are going. Notice the butternut squash is already cut up. What a great hack. Wash these baby bellas off, wash these sweet potatoes off, rinse these babies off, and we'll get ready to rock and roll. Since there's almost 2 pounds of the meat, I'm gonna try to get 4 eggs for each breakfast. 4 times 6 grams of protein is 24, and I believe that'll get me close to that 50 grams of protein I'm aiming for. And 4 times 8 is 32, so I'm gonna throw 32 eggs in this baby. 32 eggs, ready to rock and roll. Gonna add some of this nutritional yeast in there, and that's the end of that. Give it a little bit more protein and a little bit more eggy flavor. Some garlic, granulated garlic, some crushed red pepper right here, and then a whole thing of the Boursin cheese. It's 5 servings, 120 calories per serving, which means that is 500 plus 100, 600 calories spread across 8 meals. It's a small amount to add in the fat category. So blend this up, throw it on the skillet, let's roll. Gonna give a plug to Vitamix Blender. It's such an incredible product I use all of the time. And plugging it because I'm grateful anytime anybody plugs the answer and lets their friends in their community know about how they like to stand up for greatness together. Thank you Vitamix for creating such an incredible product. Utilizing the grass-fed butter to lubricate the pan here for the eggs, give it a little bit of fat, give it a little bit of non-stick, and I love using this green pan versus the cast iron skillet for the eggs, especially because it's way easier to clean up. Now that I got that in there, throw the rest of it over here for when the vegetables are ready to go in. Oop, oop. There we go. There we go. Always fun to see the eggs getting poured in, all the ingredients coming in together, nice and mixed up. It's at a low heat, so I can just come by and stir it every so often as I cut up the vegetables and throw them in to brown up. Sliced the sweet potatoes up first. They seem to take the longest to cook. The butternut squash is already cooked, so I'm gonna throw these into the butter frying pan while I cut these babies up. Love that sound. Sizzle, 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 sizzle. Gonna brown these up on both sides while I cut the other vegetables up. Gonna stir this up here in a few moments. Cutting these up next, just because they take the longest to slice and dice. Gonna give these eggs a little LOVE, remembering that the green pan prefers having a nice gentle spatula on its edges. You can see it's just starting to thick up just a tiny little bit. And checking in here on these sweet potatoes, making this sweet potato hash. They're cut nice and thin so they can brown up more easily. Flipping them for the first time, you can see how they cook up just a little bit more quickly than they do in the oven. And that's one of my favorite things about food prep, is being as effective and efficient as I can be with my time. Got the peppers cut up. Hey puppy friend. Right here, gonna set them off to the side. They need very little cook time. Gonna cut up these mushroomies next. Some good, healthy baby Bella mushrooms right here. See a little bit of dirt right there on that. What I was taught to do is just to dab it with a wet cloth and clean it off so that you can keep a lot of the other benefits for your gut flora on and in the mushroom. So got my wet cloth, kind of clean it off, and then I'm going to cut them up. Sweet potatoes are looking good. Gonna throw a little extra butter in there and going to add the mushroomies in there now to cook with them. Slice and dice. I'll throw the butternut squash in at the end just for time efficiency. It took me like 3 minutes to wash and cut both of these, so that's an extra 6 minutes. Whereas the butternut squash was already cut, ready to go. Checking in on the huevos. Starting to thicken up a little bit. Like I said, I have it at a low temperature so that it can do its thing while I cook some of the other things. Awesome. Looking delicious and nutritious. Gonna throw a little bit more butter in there and then put a lid over the top of it to help keep some of the heat in and cook the mushrooms down. Alright, these look like they're coming together beautifully. Found some red onion in the fridge, added it there to help get the colors of the rainbow. And check it out, butternut squash, just like that. And just dump it right in, it's ready to go. And rock and roll. So grateful for this little pack. Excited to buy more of the butternut squash. If you can buy it too at the Costco, that'll help them keep it on their shelves so we can all enjoy the winners. And look at all those bright, vibrant colors. I'm gonna cook the tempo, or I'm gonna put the temperature way down so that way it can just kind of simmer while the eggs catch up. And then I'm going to check out this new ingredient, the sliced grass-fed beef sirloin. I've never used it before, so let's see how we need to treat it. Nice. The eggs are starting to cook up very nicely. Going to mix them around and cut them up a little bit so they have a little bit more of that traditional scramble look and feel. But you can see how easy this is to parallel path the cooking by starting it out at a light temperature, and when you're ready you can turn it up slightly so that way everything can be done at close to the same time. Checking out over here all these beautiful colors simmer together, getting the flavors to mix together. And we'll put that in at the bottom of our food prep dish, and I will throw that meat into this cast iron skillet here. After these are finished, the eggs are finished, and it looks like it's already cooked. It was sous vide, so I'm just gonna heat it up a little bit, let the flavors get going a little bit, and then throw it into the food prep containers. Eggs looking scrambled and delicious and nutritious. I'll throw them in there after I put the vegetables in there and after they've cooled down just a little bit. All right, just confirmed this is fully cooked, sliced, grass-fed beef sirloin, 19 grams of protein per serving. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna cut it up, see how it comes out. And on the back, it says that a serving is, drum roll please, 1 serving is 3 ounces. And so we're gonna be having, how many pounds is this? It says somewhere over here. I think it was 1.9 something pounds. And right here it says 1.96 pounds. So it's almost 2 pounds. And there's 32 ounces and 2 pounds of that. So that means 3 ounces per serving. So we're gonna get probably 2 servings per. So that'll give us close to 40 grams of protein. However, after it cooks down, who knows how much is really in there. This is what it comes out looking like. Looks like it's gonna need me to cut it up. However, I do love that it's already seasoned and it looks delicious. So I'm gonna cut it up, throw it in, the pan with a little bit of butter just to help with non-sticking, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of fat. So it ended up being sliced up a little bit. However, I cut it up a little bit more. And it's a really generous portion. $11 and some change for all this. Gonna cut the rest of that up, throw it in there with his friends. Moment of truth here. Gonna give this a little tasty doodle. All right, that's pretty good. That's really good. Pups, sit. You puppies, you sit. You sit right there, and you be good little pups. Stay. You stay right there. Hey, hey. And you stay right there. Hey, 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 hey. You know how this works. You know how this works, pups. You stare at it, and you stare at it, and you wait until I say the word. Free. How do you like it, pups? How do you like it? Was that delicious? Was that delicious? Do you love it? Do you love it? You wanna look at my fingers? Oh yeah, they do love it. All right, it's a winner. It's 2:22 Sunday afternoon. That looks delicious. No more steam coming off of it. So I'm gonna plate it up now. Gonna put that down first, and all these dishes, that second, and I'm gonna throw the steak and the greens on third. Look at all the colors of the rainbow. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Now time for the huevos. And look at that delicious breakfast food prep. Got the Cados. So this whole thing, I would say I give a huge A+ to the hack on using the sous vide sirloin steak, because it was so easy to cook since it already was cooked and it was mostly sliced and diced. So I could just throw it in there, warm it up, cook it to my temperature of liking, and it's ready to rock and roll. This whole thing took under 1 hour to prepare, and it was under $5 a breakfast. What a sweet deal. Thank you. This breakfast was inspired by you because I was trying to think of something I could do different than the steak and eggs or the bacon and eggs or the sausage and eggs I normally do. So I've diversified it with the steak, and I diversified it with the skillet of sweet potatoes, butternut squash, mushrooms, and peppers. Thank you so much. And please remember that you, yes, you are the answer.